How the Santa Barbara Mountains came to be. Long ago, a small Indian band moved into this area and settled. They were led by an old medicine man by the name of Gray Wolf. This area was very different in those times. There were no mountains, no islands, and no whales swam along the shore. The climate, too, was much different at that time. The summers were much hotter and the winters very cold. Gray Wolf had told his people that the Great Spirit led him to this place, and he also was promised 4 wishes once they were settled here along this coast. One day while Gray Wolf walked along the beach, he came to a large black rock just off the water's edge. He heard a voice and realized it was the Great Spirit speaking to him. "Oh, Great One," he asked. "Did you not promise me 4 wishes once we were settled here?" "That is true," answered the Great Spirit. "What is your first wish?" "Our boats, oh, Great One. They leak since we have no pine pitch to seal them with." "I shall take care of that," said the Great Spirit, and the next day there were gobs of tar washed up upon the sandy beaches. "That is good," said Gray Wolf, as he and his people sealed the cracks in their boats. Some time passed before Gray Wolf returned again to the large black rock. "Have you come for your second wish?" asked the Great Spirit. "Yes, oh, Great One. Where we lived before, as you know, large whales came by the shore and we hunted them for food." "Your wish is granted," answered the Great Spirit. Looking out to sea, Gray Wolf spotted large pods of gray whales as they spouted water high into the air. Once again, he and his people hunted the great beast for food. 2 months passed, and one afternoon Gray Wolf and his boat crew were far out to sea. They were very tired from hunting and the constant rowing. "If only there was land here we could rest before we paddle back to the village," he mumbled to himself. The next day he went to the large black rock and spoke again to the Great Spirit. "If only there were some islands 20 miles or so from the beach, we could paddle out, hunt the whales, and rest ashore before we return home to the village." "It shall be," replied the Great Spirit, and several beautiful islands sprung up from the seabed. Gray Wolf was very content until one hot summer morning he came again to the large black rock. "Oh, Great One, is it true that I have one last wish?" "It is true." "What do you ask for?" "The land from where we came had mountains, and I thought that if there were 4,000-foot mountains running east to west about 5 miles back from the beach, the summers would be cooler and the winters not so cold." "That is true, but it would require much work on my part, next to impossible, I might add. Another wish would be easier, I'm sure." Gray Wolf thought a little, and then he remembered how difficult it was to understand his wife and the other women of the village. His life and the lives of the other men in the village would be much better if they knew how women's minds worked, so he asked the Great Spirit for the knowledge to understand his wife and the other women of the village. And so it was that the Santa Barbara Mountains came to be.